City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting for Monday, March 2nd, 2020 to order. Clerk Patrick, please call the roll.
Present are Deputy Mayor Jamal Beckford, Councilors Lisa McCabe, Reginald Stanford, Guinevere Depot, Rashad Carter. Clerk Deborah Patrick excused are Mayor Keith Hedrick, Councilor Minerva Ortiz, and Finance Director Ron Uhas.
Okay, please stand and join the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognitions, awards, memorials. Councilor McCabe?
No, none that I know of.
Okay. Councilor Stafford?
Nothing to report this time.
Councilor Depot?
No report.
Councilor Carter?
Nope. Actually,
Oh.
I do have one report.
Well, is this a
Well, this
report
is
or
a report.
recognition?
Oh, the recognitions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Disregard.
And receipt of citizens petitions. Clerk Patrick, has anyone signed up to speak?
Yes, we have one speaker, Lauren Nichols.
Okay.
If you would go,
Do they know that they have to?
if you go to the podium, there's a little button on the side there where the red light is on. Whoops. Sorry.
It's booby trap.
Didn't know that was.
And off we go.
Hey, Lauren, just one moment. I'd just like to read some comments. The receipt of citizens petitions is the portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from citizens. To address the council, please sign the sheet on the table at the front of the meeting room. When you are recognized, please approach the podium, clearly state your name and address, and speak into the microphone. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit emailed or written comments. Presentations should be related to matters pertinent to the City of Groton. City councilors will only ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation and can respond during the responses to citizens petitions portion of the meeting. Okay. Awesome, thank you.
I didn't email it ahead of time, I apologize.
Just okay.
Lauren Nichols, 18 Chapman Street in Groton City. You have already had some communication with me in the past week, so I'll try to keep this on the brief side, but understand we feel like we have a lot to say. I did also get the chance to speak with both the mayor and deputy mayor this weekend, which we appreciate. But ultimately, I am part of a small group of neighbors who attended the meetings EB held for residents, who met with EB staff multiple times in late 2018 and early 2019, and who attended the special permit public hearing in April 2019 and provided clear statements about how the project contradicts the city's POCD. We're pretty frustrated. I am now here to present significant concerns about the excessive noise coming from EB as they continue work on their South Yard project. For months, the noise was primarily during the day, but over the last month has extended as late as 2 a.m. I understand the conditions of the permit allow work from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m., but I feel that the conditions should be clarified to disallow the noisiest work after 9 p.m. The noise is atrocious. It leaves your ears humming during the small breaks between drilling and makes having a conversation inside difficult, and don't even bother trying to have a conversation outside. I'm concerned about the health, safety, and well-being of my family and fellow residents. The noise has caused significant sleep disruptions, which have been proven to be detrimental to health. The baseline noise inside my house is 40 decibels, and that's with a fan on as white noise. This bumped up to 55 decibels with the windows closed during some of the louder drilling, and 65 to 72 decibels with the window cracked only half an inch. OSHA states 80 decibels as the max, but I'm not working when I'm being exposed to this noise. I'm not being paid to be exposed to this noise, nor have I been provided noise protection or attenuation assistance. 70 decibels is too loud. 60, even 50 decibels is also too loud, especially at 11 p.m. Something needs to be done to allow residents some sleep within their homes. I also have a strong desire to have the large stockpile at the top of EB property at the intersection of Eastern Point Road and Chapman Street relocated. We finally heard back about some sample testing results, which appear to have little to no health risks to neighbors, which is good. However, when this project began, we were told we'd be able to see the river at least until steel started going up on the assembly building. I know that the Planning and Zoning Commission approved the request for a stockpile in that location as a minor accommodation to the permit, therefore not requiring a public hearing and removing our ability to speak our opinions on it at a hearing. But I believe that amendment should be further modified. Being able to see the Thames River may seem like a petty thing to some, but some residents still want to be connected to the river that runs along the entire west side of our city. When this building goes up, there will be a 1-mile stretch of Groton City that will be visually disconnected from the river. This isn't about delaying the inevitable, it's about keeping what we have for as long as possible. EB has already taken enough away from us, considering they also requested and were approved to work on 4 additional holidays. At the same time, they requested permission for the stockpile. They should be required to move the pile. Or, if possible, ask for a revote, as a third of the commission was not in attendance when that was voted as a minor accommodation instead of a major. We also happen to have new cracks in our foundation. Cracks that were not there a year ago. They were not there when we bought the house 8 years ago, but appeared after the blasting that EB was doing at the end of last year. EB did send a home inspector, but since we have no before picture, it's our word against theirs about what caused the cracks. It takes a lot to cause a crack in the foundation of a 28-year-old house. My kids can get crazy, but not that crazy. This is just a small amount of the issues and concerns we have, and barely touches on how we felt deceived by EB on a number of occasions and topics, how they've continued to steamroll our community to get what they want, while giving nothing back to the city that is so vital to their work. I spoke with Lori McLean earlier, who's on Nicholas Avenue, and she was unable to make it. She has asked that if it would be possible for the city to revoke the special permit, perhaps to make reasonable adjustments and resubmit a modified permit. She asked that I have that stated as well. I'm here tonight to ask that the city does everything they possibly can to make the situation better for the residents. We know the project will continue, that the building will go up, but it's not unreasonable for us, for the residents' needs to take priority over a company's demands. Thank you.
Thank you.
Edwin Vasquez?
Good evening. My name is Edwin Vasquez, live at 30 Chapman Street with my wife Holly and our newborn. Our concern, as to reiterate from before, the noise, the dirt pile at the end of our block, and the cracks in the foundation that we've noticed in our house. As far as the noise, now I work at EB, so I understand the importance of this project. That's not the issue here. Now, as a neighbor of EB, okay, I'm concerned is the noise at all hours of the night. I understand that they got a special permit to work from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m., okay, 6 days a week. I know for a fact, because of the newborn, we're up at all hours of the night. So we've heard them even after 2 o'clock in the morning, okay, 4:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock, you name it. We've heard that. Why weren't we consulted or at least notified that there was going to be a special permit given to them to work way past normal working hours? You know, holidays, I get it. I have to work during the holidays too, so I understand that part. But, you know, try to put a baby to sleep, you know, at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, I'm sure many of you know it's quite difficult, okay? It's our quality of life that I'm concerned about, not for myself and for our neighbors, fellow residents in the area. As neighbors, we you know, we're considerate of one another, you know, and we expect the same, you know, from Electric Boat being our big neighbor right there down the block. We've had, you know, the constant, you know, I know things can be done to modify schedule, okay? It seems like the loudest noise is 10 o'clock at night, you know, 11 o'clock at night. Whether that be the grinding, the blasting, whatever it may be down there, it's louder, it seems to me, at nighttime than it is during the daytime. And I'm in the yard during the daytime. I don't hear anything really, you know. You know, when the blasting was going on, I'd get texts from my wife saying, "What was that?" The house would shake after we were assured that we wouldn't feel anything at that where we live on that end of the block because it was very minor. Okay, but the noise persists into all hours of the night. And that is, like I said, quality of life is our main concern for all of our residents in the area. The cracks in the foundation, we voiced our concern to Electric Boat. They sent out a inspector, took pictures and whatnot, but we have yet to hear anything about that since then. We had our house inspected December 26th. So what became of it, we have no idea. The dirt pile, well, it's a little reassuring that a report came out that there's minimal contamination, but do we have a second report? Is there a second testing plan for this thing? Because who really knows, And right now it's March. The windows are down. A couple of months when the weather warms up, we have the windows open. The noise, if it's unbearable now, you can imagine what it's going to be like then. And I'm talking about, even just 6 p.m., 7 p.m., okay? So do we have to worry also about wind blowing that dirt that may or may not be contaminated into our homes? My house is built in 1940. It should have already been settled. No, it shouldn't have any cracks in the foundation or up in the upper floors, but yet we've noticed slight cracks, but we have no way to prove it because we didn't have any before pictures. All they did was take pictures of the present condition, and that's it. So we're concerned with the noise primarily, but we asked for some consideration from our neighbors. Initially there was communication and whatnot, but all these things that have happened recently, we haven't heard anything about it. So, why not? That's our main concern. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There are no others.
I'm sorry?
There are no others signed up.
Okay. City councilors, do you have any questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation?
I had a question for Mr. Vasquez.
Yes.
Are the cracks that you found just on the foundation, or do you also have internal cracks like on the walls and ceilings as well?
First floor, second floor, we found minor cracks, yes.
Okay.
Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, I would just like to say a quick word. As Lauren mentioned, the mayor and I, we went out to Chapman Street to observe the dirt pile, which looks like it was partially covered on Sunday, and to just listen. And it was oddly quiet that day. That's probably the seventh day where there was no work being done. But I will, there are others on the council who have gone down there and they've listened, because we've been getting emails, we've been getting phone calls about the issue. So I think after talking to the mayor, we are going to look into what we can do to, on our end, provide information, even if that's contact at EB, as well as seeing what is within the power of us to do as far as the noise and the timing of it. Beyond that, I don't know if we can promise anything, but I promise we will look into that. Lisa?
Is there anything we can do about, certainly the complaints that noise is happening after the 2 a.m. mark? I mean, there has to be something that we can do in response to that. At the very least, if they're violating their special permit.
Yeah, like I said, I think the mayor's office will investigate that. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Councilor
I was just
Groton.
gonna say, we were copied on an email from the city planner, I think, to EB,
Yeah.
where that was mentioned, that if they seem to be even violating the agreed upon hours, and the email was pretty strongly worded and basically said it requires a response. So I know that we've been, since
the complaints have started to come in the last couple of weeks. I know that several people within the building here have been in communication with EB and are pushing for that. Partly, I think all of us have been getting complaints from people separately as well. So, and obviously we all live in the city. So I think I live just outside of the noise range. I can hear it if I like go outside and really try, but if you go close, you know, you can hear the noise. So we're all very sensitive to that. And I don't think, you know, it's fair to come to an agreement with EB and then have them violate it. Is definitely no one's on board with that. So I know it's unfortunate that it has to take several complaints for us to be so forceful with electric vote, but you know, we are taking as much action as we can.
So at this point, a violation would be anything past 2 a.m., right? But I think, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but me just listening, it appears to me that 2 a.m., even having that special permit to work to 2 a.m. is kind of asinine, you know? And it's not, I mean, unless I'm ignorant to the fact that I wasn't sure, or I wasn't aware that they were going to be working and blasting to 2 a.m. I mean, I would look at that as a nuisance, even if it wasn't a violation. And I think that's what you guys are arguing, correct? Yes. So it's not what they violated, it's what the city allowed them to do.
Without public comment.
Without public comment. That's the issue, and that's what I take it from it as well. Because even if they're not violating, I think to blast and all that to 2 a.m., that's not in the best interest of the city residents.
So, unfortunately, I don't really have any answers for anybody right now. But again, all we can do is we can promise we're going to look into it and see what's in our power to change, and put you in contact with people that at EB in order to make sure that you're heard as well.
Excuse me for interrupting, just so you know, there have been complaints in New London as well from the noise, FYI, so it's not just us.
Sure. Yep. I'm sorry. We if we're gonna speak, we're gonna have to. You're gonna have to be on the mic, and you're gonna have to be signed up to speak.
And we've already passed the citizens.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're into the
Oh, yeah.
response.
Right. Right.
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
Since you're saying we are looking into what we can do, what we can affect, I think I personally would hope that we can make a formal statement to the citizens so that they know what we have been able to do and keep everybody in the loop.
Okay. All right, I will close the citizens' petitions and comments. We're going to move on to the approval of minutes. I move that we approve the February 4th. I take a motion to approve the February 4th, 2020 Joint City of Groton and Town of Groton Special Committee of the Whole meeting. All in favor, say aye.
I need
You got
a
a
motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstains? Okay, that passes. I will take a motion to approve the February 18th, 2020 Special Committee of the Whole public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Second, I'm sorry, nays or abstentions? That passed, that is approved. I'll take a motion to approve the February 18th, 2020 Mayor and Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any nays? Thank you. I move that we approve. I take a motion that we approve the February 24th, 2020 Joint Mayor and Council and Beach and Park Special Committee of the Whole meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any nays? Motion passes, and I will take a motion to approve the February 24th, 2020 Committee of the Whole meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Motion passes. All right, we will move on to communications and reports. Counselor McCabe?
I attended the Common Ground Community Cafe this weekend. Chief Spellman holds these kind of gatherings every, I don't know, quarter or every few months, and it's really informative. It's an opportunity to ask the chief questions and get some information about events or things that are happening locally. I recommend everyone else going. That's it.
Excellent. Counselor Safford?
Actually, I attended the DARE graduation on Friday at the Catholic school there.
Oh, Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart, thank you. It was very informative, very good. First time attending. Good luck to all students with that.
Okay. Counselor Depot?
I also attended the DARE graduation on the 26th. It's really nice to see the program getting kind of reinvigorated. I know it's been reworked since we were all in DARE. Well, I was in DARE, and you probably were. And I want to thank Chief Spellman and Officer Lesage, who are kind of moving that forward. And I know, I think Officer Delacruz is taking over the program next year. And it's just good with the increase of overdoses and just drugs out there. It's good to get kids learning early and communicating about it instead of not talking about it, which I think has been part of the problem sometimes is kids aren't aware, and then when they discover it, it's not good. So I just want to thank the police department for doing that. On the 27th, I attended the economic development strategy session. They held at the Par 4. They held, I think, 4 of them. And John Reiner from the town basically just went through kind of our strategy, joint strategy with the town and the city, and how we've been working together recently. And it was really informative. And I don't know if they plan on offering those periodically the same way the police department's been offering, but if you have questions about the economic development, I know the town department has a lot of flyers and informative handouts that they can give if someone has questions about what we're doing with all the empty schools and all of that. Feel free to contact any of us, or we'll point you in the right direction. On the 29th, they also attended the coffee and a chat with the police department at the Bill Memorial Library. And again, the Chief Spellman went over all the updates with the police department. We're getting lockers redone, and we got the body cameras came in that we approved and we got a grant for. So, Officer Captain Jenkins actually gave a nice demonstration on how they work. So it was really interesting, and I would encourage anyone to go to those chats, because then they also open it for any kind of questions at the end. So if you have a question for the police and you don't feel comfortable just going to the police department and asking them, attend one of these chats and you can ask them anything that you want and they will answer your questions. So that's it.
Thank you. Counselor Carter?
Nothing to report.
Clerk Deborah Patrick?
Nothing.
I also attended the economic strategy session, but I attended the one in the afternoon at the Groton Public Library. It seemed to be well attended. And again, we went over the joint strategy for the city of Groton and the town of Groton. It was very informative. Okay. Do we have any committee referrals?
No.
No? Okay. We will move into new business. So, Councilor McCabe?
Resolution R-20-3-21. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to provisionally approve change order number 11 from R.H. White Construction Company Incorporated, 41 Central Street, Auburn, Massachusetts, for the additional compensation for equipment, materials, and labor to remove and replace damaged face brick on the exterior walls of Unit 1 and Unit 2 of the water filtration plant as part of the State of Connecticut Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Project number 2013-10 2022-0140, pending final approval by the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health in the amount not to exceed $72,125.00, and Mayor Keith Hendrick to be authorized to execute change order number 11. I so move.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. We discussed this at the February 24th Committee of the Whole meeting. Director Godet fielded a lot of questions there. Do we have any more questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Abstentions? Motion passes. Counselor Stafford.
Thank you. Resolution R-20-3-22. Therefore, it be resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to provisionally approve change order number 12 from R.H. White Construction Company Incorporated, 41 Central Street, Auburn, Massachusetts, for additional compensation for equipment, materials, and laborers to install 4-inch concrete masonry units and repoint masonry joints on the exterior walls of Unit 3 of the water filtration plant as part of the State of Connecticut Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, project number 2013-0140, pending final approval of the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health in the amount not to exceed $91,310.00, and Mayor Keith Hendrick be authorized to execute change order number 12. I so move.
Second.
Yes, so we discussed this one at the February 24th Committee of the Whole meeting as well. Do we have any questions or comments on this? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Abstentions? Motion passes. Counselor Depot?
Thank you. Resolution R-20-3-23. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to approve a 2-year agreement for the Bioxide Solution full-service odor control program for the Plant Street Pump Station and East Slope Pump Station as a sole source provider, Evaqua Water Technologies, LLC, 2650 Talabast Road, Sarasota, Florida, not to exceed the amount of $56,500.00 to be paid from the approved fiscal year 2020 and anticipated funds available in the approved fiscal year 2021 Sewer Division operating and capital budget. I so move.
Second.
Yeah, this one also comes out of the February 24th Committee of the Whole meeting. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Abstentions? Motion passes. Counselor Carter?
Thank you. R-20-3-24. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the rules and regulations at Eastern Point Beach for fiscal year 2020. I so move.
Second.
Okay, so we discussed this again at the February 24th Joint Mayor and Council and Beach and Park Special Committee of the Whole meeting. Do we have any questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Abstentions? Motion passes. Councilor McCabe?
Resolution R-20-3-25. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the 2020 City of Groton Recreational Department user fees. I so move.
Second.
Okay, again, this comes from the February 24th Joint Mayor and Council and Beach and Park Special Committee of the Whole meeting. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Abstentions? Motion passes. Councilor Stafford?
Thank you. Resolution 20-3-26. Therefore, be resolved that the mayor and council authorize Mayor Keith Hendrick to enter into a 63-month rental agreement with CIT Bank, 10201 Centurion Parkway North, number 100, Jacksonville, Florida, and a maintenance agreement with Connecticut Business Systems, LLC, 100 Great Meadow Road, 3rd floor, Weathersfield, Connecticut, for an estimated annual expenditure of $65,000 and no cents to be paid from the general fund, various departments, electric division, water division, sewer division, fiscal year opening budgets. I so move.
Second.
Okay, we discussed this at the February 24th Committee of the Whole meeting. Do we have any questions or comments on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion passes. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.